Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another reaction. Today we have kind of an interesting one. This one is by FestiveBored, but the instrumental is not by FestiveBored. It is Bury the Light, as you probably saw in the title, but it has new vocals instead of having the entire song redone. It's just remastering the original instrumental. So I think listening to this, I'm mostly going to focus on the vocals. I don't know if I'll say too much about the instrumental because I've heard the song before, the original, and I know what it sounds like, and I'm sure there will be differences, but it really depends on how different it ends up sounding. But I have to listen to it to know if it's worth mentioning, and without further ado, let's go!
Bury the light deep within. Blade and shield, there's no turning back.
Okay.
There's feelings in the wind. Staring into the ocean.
Like, I'm assuming these vocals are just FestiveBoard. And that had some really good grit to it. Had a good texture to the voice. This instrumental does sound very different. Like, not, it's the song, obviously. Maybe he remade it. I don't know, something about it feels different. Maybe that is just the remaster. I might be so used to the old version. Dude. Hell yeah, actually. Okay. This is actually really fucking good for a vocal cover. And I love that you can tell that there's those inconsistencies in the voice, but it doesn't make it bad. If anything, that makes it that much more endearing. I fucking love that. Woo, got up there. And it's like, you know that there's gonna be pitch correction. That doesn't fucking matter, right? The performance, that's what the fuck it's about. This is like really fucking good cover band at like an anime convention quality. Obviously with canned instrumental, but sure. These were live instruments, I'd be like, holy fuck. I think it's just hitting me how long it's been since I've heard Bury the Light. So I think what I said earlier about it not maybe being the original might just be me. I do have a few concerns, and they're all like technical things, so I'll wait till the end to talk about those. But again, this is really fucking good. think as far as like the remaster of the instrumental goes, I think there's a bit too much like in the low mids. There's like a rumble that's like affecting the clarity a little bit, but that might not be something that is fully removable either. I don't know what quality he was working with prior to the remaster. That fucking high note. I mean, I just love this solo. Hell yeah. I forgot how much I enjoyed this song. It's been way too long. Watch this get, like, it's gonna get copyright struck. That's the best part, it's like, I don't care. See, like, that's where, this is kind of what I'm talking about with the quality things that I want to talk about afterwards. But again, it's down to, like, what quality he had to work with, if it is just a raw remastering of the original part. Hi, so right as I was about to edit this, I was like, I made a bunch of comments in the video about how the vocal performance was, and it wasn't bad, and I was like, oh shit, not too shabby. Here's what I would fix, talking to it as if it was Festive's voice, and apparently it was not. I checked the description, it said it was Eric Castiglia, who is a voice for hire, basically. So I'm sitting here like, all right, most of what I said is going to be very much irrelevant since I'm not going to be talking to Festive directly. So if it seems like there's weird moments where like I'm referring to something I said earlier, there might not be in there because I'm going to cut everything I was talking about, like the direct vocal performance and like how to improve and stuff like that, or stuff that was great because there was a lot of both. And I'm like, okay, cool. But at the same time, if it's not Festive, I feel like it's bullshit for me to try and tell Eric that when I don't know who that is. You know, he just hired him offline. So just letting you know before we get into the video and all the other analytical side of stuff. But yeah, that's just how it went. For those who don't know, because I didn't mention it earlier, FestiveBored is an executive producer in my Patreon, which is why he requests stuff that he does. Because he's like, hey, let me know what your opinions are. Give me your thoughts just as a listener. So he just throws the song in, tells me why he made it or like what parts he had in making it, and just, you know, goes at that, and that's the face value I get. And now for the mix, right? The mix, honestly, like vocally and everything, I liked how you were stacking the voices, maybe a little bit muddy at some points, but that kind of matches the rest of my issue with the mix because it wasn't bad. I would just say it's like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Don't make the fucking joke. I see you typing. Anyway, so this song has a lot of like low mids, and that does get muddy. I'm sure Festive knows that as well. Anyone who knows music knows those low mids can be an absolute hellscape to dodge, just like the 400 hertz range. Like, ugh, get that out of here, you know? It's all mud, it's all ring, it's nothing that you want to have in your ears. And while it's not egregious in here, and again, I don't know what the quality of the original track he had was. If he had stems, I have a feeling this would have definitely turned out better, so he probably got the best what he could out of what he had. So I'm not exactly shitting on that. It's just more of a, if I were to myself, there's probably a few spots you can cut in that like low mid-range area that just don't need to be there. You probably did too. That's what sucks. It's like you might have just had a decent quality upload of the song that was instrumental and you worked with that, and those are going to kind of be baked in as a result. Unfortunately, you can only do so much. So that's kind of where I'm like, I want to mention these things, but a lot of it can't be addressed without access to specific instrumental stems. If you did have those, that's where I would start removing things like that low rumbliness out of like the rhythm guitars, especially like the chugs and everything. Those had a lot of beef down in the low end that could have cut through a little bit tighter if it had more standard like high mids in there, would have been a little bit more cutting, especially at the end with that like metalcore chugging. Like that's what I'm talking about with the mix. Everything else was pretty decent, honestly. It was mostly just getting lost in the sauce of all of the rhythmic stuff in there. The rhythm guitar and some of the low end of the drums was definitely creating that base of like muddy flubbiness underneath everything else. And the vocals were a little bit in there, like under everything else. And it's just one of those things you have to fight through, because the voice for this song especially needs that power, needs to be up in front. Right at the start, it was there. For the verses, it started to fall back a little bit. It felt better in the choruses, but that's where like the dynamic mixing would come in handy, of like taking the verse and mixing it separately from the chorus. And honestly, he probably did dynamically mix it, but at the same time, during the verses especially, just with how they're handled, the instrumental below it, it's just a little bit different. And I think that it was just too soft. Like if it was louder, a little bit, like a couple decibels louder, but also I think once again, we're in that like area of the mids. I think that this song works the best when it's crispy. You know, like when the voices are sitting on top, they're very clear and they're kind of matching the electric guitar. Whereas in here, they kind of felt like they were sitting more in that middle range with the rhythm section, and it was kind of getting lost in that sauce. So it's just things to think about, things to work on. Obviously, like I said, Festive himself is going through college for this stuff, and I haven't. So like there is some technical knowledge in there that I'm even unaware of, but I do have the ear to hear things where they kind of feel right and kind of don't. And some of that can be hardware. You know, like I'm listening on these. He was listening on different setups. He could have been listening on just monitors, no headphones. Whatever headphones he's using might be different than mine. So you're going to get little inconsistencies between listening and hearing different things. That's why I love these headphones, because they are like as flat as you can get in this price point. It is fucking beautiful. And I love these things. I've heard quite a few headphone qualities, and these ones are definitely the clearest in my opinion. Beside the point though, those are going to happen. You're going to have some variety. You're going to have people who are listening to it in the car and it will sound phenomenal compared to listening to it on like a home theater. It's just environmental differences, and I'm not going to harp on that. It's just, there is a little bit of mud, at least in my ears. So I wanted to mention it, and where I would personally cut and boost if I could. But again, a lot of that does also come back down to what was the quality he was working with? Did he have access to stems? Probably not, so I can't exactly say it's bad either. But I've been yapping about this shit for like 20 minutes, so I'm going to call it here. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to get to something else, by all means, drop in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you want to guarantee something, much like Festive did for this one, you can always go to my Patreon or my YouTube membership, become a member, and do that, you know? Send me something. Doesn't matter what it's from, who it's by, if it's good or bad, none of that matters. That's why it's a guaranteed request. But if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!